This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shoshina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topic News: Grand Bahama has had its fair share of challenges, but with growing tourism numbers and the addition of a number of new businesses, officials say better days are ahead. Tonight, the president of the Grand Bahama Port Authority talks about a renewed focus on the tourism industry and plans for several prospective attractions for the island. As Grand Bahama rebounds from one of the toughest economic recessions in recent time, plans are in motion to bring the magic back to the city. President of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Ian Roll, says the infrastructure on this island can hold about 250,000 persons, yet only about 55,000 reside on Grand Bahama. While he believes critical mass must be created on this island through investment for businesses to thrive, the port's aim is also to focus more on the tourism-related product, like the cruise industry.
The cruise industry is huge for us. There's one element that these cruise lines cannot control. It's the price of fuel. Our location is absolutely key to this equation. And in speaking with a number of the CEOs from the cruise lines, they asked me to do one thing: cause some attractions to happen in Grand Bahama and create a better arrival experience. And with that, they will divert additional vessels here.
He emphasizes how important the arrival experience is.
Some persons have issues in regards to how we're set up at the harbor, for instance. One or two cruise lines might have issues like that. So they are looking for us to somehow transform that experience at the harbor. That's number one. And also, there are one or two cruise lines who would love to look at other locations.
There have been many complaints that there isn't enough for tourists to do on this island. While tourism officials disagreed with the statement in the past, Roll says plans are in place to ensure that with a boost in tourism numbers come additional attraction and entertainment.
We would have hired a consultant to assist with just giving us some concepts. And we have come up with a movie theme park and a pool club and also an adventure island concept. And so we plan to cause these things to happen in very short order.
He says the Grand Bahama Port Authority is committed to the growth and development of Freeport. While this island has had its fair share of economic boom and busts, Roll admits that he is not entirely pleased with the island's current status, but he is optimistic about where this island is headed. Now, tomorrow night, the president of the Port Authority, Ian Roll, will talk about the sale of the Port Lakaya Marketplace. And two businessmen have answered the call and have invested in the development of a Junkanoo museum. They hope it becomes a major tourist attraction. Natalia Hall has the story.
They call it a vision brought to a reality. A new Junkanoo museum will soon open on Grand Bahama, showcasing the cultural art form. The museum will include a variety of Bahamian Junkanoo costumes, a Junkanoo village, logo shop, conch bar, souvenir shop, and a workshop to build Junkanoo pieces.
Over the years, I watched Junkanoo year in, year out, and I notice how lovely the costumes them are. And at the end of the Junkanoo season, they take the costumes and throw them about the road. Some they probably keep into the shacks, those fancier pieces, you know. And that kind of concerned me somewhat, okay? Realizing that the tourists, them comes here for Junkanoo and during the Junkanoo festive season. And then after that season is over, very, very rare you see something about Junkanoo.
Consultant Rashad Ahmad says the museum will be a new experience for Grand Bahama and will provide many job opportunities as well.
What we're doing is positioning ourselves and getting ready for those tourists who normally complain that there is nothing to do in Grand Bahama. That is going to be something that is going to be long past. Once they would have arrived here in Grand Bahama and come to this museum, they're going to find something as far as our culture from where we came from, and they'll definitely know who we are as a Bahamian as far as Joncunoo is concerned and our culture. This is a wonderful opportunity as it relates to persons who are in the Joncunoo community, especially as far as jobs are concerned. We're now looking for the best and brightest as it relates to stars in the Joncunoo community. I'm talking about dancers, I'm talking about fire dancers, I'm talking about limbo dancers, I'm talking about free dancers, I'm talking about persons who can make the best potato bread, the best conch salad, because we're going to offer a full experience.
Organizers say the museum will serve as a great attraction for tourists and residents on the island, as well as an educational tool for students as well.
Be reaching out to the Bahamians, especially the school children, so that they would know where our heritage comes from. So I want to say to one and all, come down, have a visit, and experience what the Joncunoo Museum is all about.
Italia Hall, 7S Network News.
Thanks, Italia. Well, in other news, the bus stop near the Ranfurly Circus was the center of attraction today as work crews moved in to address what could have been a potentially dangerous situation. Megan Shepard has the latest.
Another incident of African hybrid bees disrupting motor and pedestrian traffic early Wednesday morning. Students of the College of the Bahamas waiting at the bus stop were stung while waiting, and reports are that 4 had to be transported to the Rand Memorial Hospital. Supervisor of Budget Pest Control Stefano Evans says that work crews in the area may have disrupted the hive.
They actually set up hive on a broken down fence that was inside of the bus. That's where they started the Seek High Bridge. What happened this morning was there was a landscaping crew in the area once again doing some landscaping to the bushes in the back of the bus stop, and then what occurred is that the noise and vibration caused by their lawnmower then agitated the bees, causing them to go on a defense attack. So anybody within the area, pretty much the students who were on the bus stop, were at risk, and we had a few students who got stung today.
Evans injured the bushes behind the bus stop and it treated the hive. A swarm of bees was then seen hovering. Minutes later, Evans emerged with the hive, which he says he estimates to be about 3.5 feet in length and 2.5 feet in width.
What would have happened is that as vehicles were starting to pass by, as I was in the middle of my treatment, the bees were already going on their swarming attack pattern. So what would have happened is that anybody walking by or even driving by with their windows down were possibly at risk. So I just needed the roads to be closed down just for every citizen's safety.
The roads were reopened to motoring traffic shortly after the removal of the hive, but the caution tape remained in place and pedestrians were urged to avoid the area for at least 4 hours after the removal. Megan Shepard, 7S Network News.
Now, the Department of Road Traffic has announced that the bus stop near the Ranfurly Circus will remain closed until 6 p.m. tomorrow to give work crews enough time to remove the beehive from that area. Officers with the Drug Enforcement Unit seizing a large sum of money yesterday. Reports say officers searched a dark blue Nissan Sentra in the area of Settlers Way, and they discovered the U.S. and Bahamian currency. The 2 male occupants could not give an account for the cash, and the 30-year-old driver was taken into custody and the funds confiscated. Investigations are continuing into this matter. Well, the level of poverty in the country continues to be a concern for the government, and it has a veteran politician calling for greater measures to address this serious issue. Arjun Davis-Roll reports.
His stance has been echoed nationally and has over and repeatedly been articulated within the halls of Parliament. The Member of Parliament for West End and Bimini and Minister of Tourism, the Honourable Obi Wolshcombe, calling for an end to social degradation throughout the country. This as he recognizes the significant strides the leading government agency is making to address the plight of many Bahamians on this northern island.
The Urban Renewal Program has had success ever since the Prime Minister introduced it in 2002, a concept, an idea that was to not only transform the communities but also transform the thinking, the minds of people to understand that you might have been born, you might have been a part of despair, but you can rise up and you can survive and you can achieve. I think what Michelle Reckley has been doing is just tremendous because, you know, she works with very little. She's gone out, she's gotten the public sector to support her and the private sector. She's become a corporate entity almost, getting the corporate citizens of our country to decide that they want to be a part of it. She's getting full endorsement from private companies who are talking about the work being done because the truth is their families and their family's family are being impacted by it.
Minister Wolshcombe says the Prime Minister-inspired initiative is fulfilling its mandate as those charged with the awesome responsibility of developing this national vision continues to positively impact the lives of the masses.
This is what we have to do in this country. We can't say that we believe in the Word of God, we believe in the word from the Bible, and forget that when someone's hungry, you're supposed to feed them, thirsty, give them drink, naked, clothe them, put a roof over their head. That's what you're supposed to do. And so it's in fulfillment of all that we believe in. There's much more to be done, and I'd just like to encourage Ms. Reckley and the work that she's doing, the entire renewal team. I've benefited a lot in my constituency, and I know my people are very grateful, and I want to see more of the work take place because I believe that we can transform these areas. We can bring these areas from the low area levels that they are now, and we can lift them up. But it requires consistency, persistency, requires determination.
Joan Davis Rowe, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues right after this.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The Anglican Churchmen paying tribute to a man who literally gave his life to rescue a woman who was being accosted by an unknown assailant. It all happened in December of last year when a 40-year-old Lamorne Moxie of Weddell Avenue witnessed a crime in progress, and he pitched in and helped the victim who had been robbed of her handbag. But Moxie lost his life in the process. Well, on Sunday, the ACM of the Pro-Cathedral of Christ the King, led by Alfred Stubbs, reflected on the unselfish act by Moxie, whom many call a good Samaritan.
Because we identified this young man, Mr. Moxie, who lost his life doing what we consider to be a neighborly act of trying to assist this young lady who was being robbed, consequently he lost his life. And so we thought that it was fitting to identify this particular initiative with our Love Thy Neighbor package and make this presentation posthumously to him, to a family member here at church today.
On behalf of my mother, Nellie Young, and the rest of the family, the Moxie family, I would like to say thank you to the ACM, the men of the ACM, for this kind gesture.
Now, 29-year-old Rashid Ingrid Farrington of Cabot Drive was charged with Moxie's murder. He's currently on remand in prison, and a preliminary inquiry will commence on March 23rd. Switching gears now, Grand Bahama can boast of another big achievement as a student of the Grand Bahama Academy now holds a national title. This young debater won the recent J8 speech competition. Our Sabrina Brown has this story.
12th grade student at the Grand Bahama Academy, Kristen Saunders, walked away with top honors at the Bahama Jack speech competition at the Grand Lucayan Resort. She says she simply used her life experience to wow the judges.
I just basically stated that despite opposition, despite the struggles we are going to go through, we have to be optimists. You know, we have to want better for ourselves. We have to not be afraid to go after what we want. Even when it seems like there's no door opened, we could create those doors for ourselves.
Kristen went up against 4 students from other islands, but that was not the first time the young debater participated in the national competition.
In the 10th grade, I was a part of the speech competition. I made it to the finals. And when I went back in grade 11, I wanted to really see if I was just a hit and miss. And I didn't make it to the finals. But this year, from the encouragement of all of my advisors, Mr. Jason Pinder, Mrs. Raming, Mr. Joffa, and Mrs. Monka, and Mrs. Campbell, they're all my advisors. They, really pushed me. They really believed in me, even more than I believed in myself. And I went in there, I just asked God to go before me and let His will be done.
This is her 3rd year in junior achievement, and she says the program, which focuses on creating new entrepreneurs, has made a significant impact on her life.
It made me start thinking about what I'm going to do. From the time that I came in, the way how the cycle of junior achievement works is you come in as one of the youngest set, whether you're in grade 9 or grade 10, and you observe the older ones, how they maintain a company. The program we have is the company program, and we see them, take charge of the meetings and having to keep their responsibilities in order.
Kristen plans to attend COB to study education with a focus on music. Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. Ricardo Lightborn has a check on sports when we come back.
Everybody, it's time for Sports and Ricardo Lightborn. This one tonight, folks, is for the girls down there at Nesbitt's in Nassau. If you hear some things in there and they're out of the way, I warn you before you go in there tonight, okay? All right, the Grand Bahama Basketball Association on court at the Jack Hayward Gymnasium with the Lady Flames with a 10-point game from Karen Barr and a 31-21 win over the Lady Predators. As far as the men, let's go courtside. The Coca-Cola Saints and the Tankers Predators on court in Division II play. The Saints coach Dudley said a bit concerned in the early going of the ball game. The Saints got some momentum and strong move to the basket, then tack on the foul. The Predators fell asleep on defense, and Coca-Cola took full advantage of those miscues. The Predators needed a basket and some means of stopping the bleeding. The Saints with the rock watched a strong move to the basket. It's called Hoops 101. The size advantage for Coca-Cola proved to be a bit too much for those Predators. The Tankers Predators fell the Coca-Cola Saints 51-45 in a tough loss. The Saints' Keno Russell led all scores at 17 points. Coca-Cola sits on top of the Division II. And the Grand Bahama Shipyard Cruisers and Port Predators followed the Division I clash. The Predators' DeAndre Jones was on his game and posted a 19-point performance. The Shipyard had a guard play, and it showed. Jay Philippe with the baseline move. Here comes the Shipyard Cruisers and Tom Thompson off the fast break. He had a 19-point game. The Port Predators tried to stay close in this one from the arc. The perimeter game shooting was not enough as the Grand Bahama Shipyard Cruisers cruised to a 72-59 rout of the Predators. Tough game for the Port boys. The Saints put away the Cobras 67-62 Showtime Knights blast the GB Powerballers 55-26. And tonight you've got the Tanker Predators and the Cobras. And you got Coca-Cola Saints and Statoil Stingers playing again. And GB Shipyard, they got a game tonight. They're going to take on Men of Honor. They'll all be by the Jack Hayward Gym because the circus is by St. George's. And the Grand Bahama Track and Field Championships, a.k.a. the Island Sports, is underway at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex. Field event. And our Kimberly Mullings checked it out and says the junior and senior leaders are okay. Kimberly can't run, but she can show talk.
Tabernacle is leading the way so far in the senior division of the high school track and field championships. Now a number of the Falcons athletes are tired, according to track and field coach Nikito Johnson. He says the return from nationals over the weekend is taking a toll on them.
It has been interesting. The kids are giving it their best. They're tired, but they're giving it their best, and we're faltering here or there on a few subs and everything, but the kids are hanging in there, and it's showing. I won all 4 national championships. I just wish that we had more time to prepare for it, and it had come after our island championships, but the national championships was great.
The Blue Jays of 8 Mile Rock are leading the way for the juniors after day 2. Coach Daphne Saunders-Neely says her athletes are doing well going into day 3. It's a lot for the young people to deal with after the big weekend at nationals. She urges the community to come out and show their support.
Plenty pressure on the children to perform for 3 straight weeks because after nationals they have to go straight into Carifta trials. And I think that's plenty pressure on them. Well, I've been in track and field now for the last 20-something plus years, and parental and fan support is very important. That gives the children extra boost to perform.
Both coaches, like many in Grand Bahama, are looking forward to the day when Island Sports is before nationals to allow adequate time for athletes to prepare for the Carifta trials and games. The Grand Bahama Track Championships runs through Monday over at the Plaques. Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Total Sports.
Kimberly, you got Daphne to give you an interview. Boy, I owe you a lollipop. The girls down there now, so Nesbitt's behave yourself tonight, please. That's a look at sports.